Hi, and thank you for joining me to continue learning about accessibility and inclusive user experiences. Today, we're going to dive deeper into understanding assistive technologies, the differences and similarities to the adaptive technologies, as well as we look into ways and methods that people surf the web. Understanding of the ways that web content are being consumed is critical because it allows us to consider and account for them when we're designing and developing our websites and applications. To ensure that all of us are on the same page and have a similar understanding of the adaptive and assistive technologies definitions, let's spend a few minutes to look at these two and ensure we are clear about their similarities and differences. Considering assistive technologies are vital for making the web more inclusive by enabling users with disabilities to overcome their various physical, sensory, cognitive challenges that they face and engage with the web content in ways that are most suitable to their needs. Let's take a look at ATIA definition of this term. The Association Technology Industry Association defines assistive technologies as any item, piece of equipment, software program, or product systems that users with disability use to maintain, increase, and improve functional capabilities of persons with disabilities. This is essential for us to know, which means assistive technologies, they don't necessarily need to be software, but they can be in any shape and any form. Question: what about adaptive technologies? Do you think they are the same, or there are some differences between adaptive technologies versus assistive technologies? Let's take a look. It is true that these terms are being used interchangeably. However, they have different focus and purpose. What I mean by that, adaptive technologies are a subset of assistive technologies. And if we get into more detail about them, adaptive technologies are often ways, methods, software, hardware that come handy to modify an existing application or hardware. Okay, so adaptive technologies refer to the system or tools that are specifically designed or modified to meet the unique needs of individual. Here, the emphasis is on modifying and adapting the existing technologies to fit and answer the needs that the person has. However, assistive technologies are often being built by mainly focusing on users with disabilities, so ground up. Okay, let's look at a couple of differences. From the adaptive technologies, we can take a look at mouse designs. Okay, so for users with mobility challenges, there can be different modification to the mouse that make it much easier for them to leverage, as well as they can use magnification, color enhancer, so many different ways to modify the existing tools. On the other hand, when we look at the screen readers, when we look at wheelchairs, speech to text software, so they are being built off the shelf for focusing on users with special needs. Keeping in mind that there are many technologies and tools that people leverage, let's take a look at some of the common ways that people interact with web pages. From different ways that users surf the web, we're going to start with the most traditional browsing, which is majority of us using a display screen in addition to keyboard and mouse. So we click on links and buttons, we scroll through page, we type into search bars and fill out forms. We use keyboard shortcuts such as Ctrl C for copy, Ctrl X for cut, and etc. to work with our web pages. The next web user group is the ones who are sighted users. So they use display screen as their output, as well as they use keyboard as their input device. This group of people use tab key to navigate between actionable web elements. They use enter key to activate link and button. They use arrow keys to scroll through the content and or move through text fields, as well as keyboard shortcuts such as Control plus to zoom into the page content, Control minus to zoom out. Among this group of users, there are also some users who entirely rely on a keyboard to interact. So we call them keyboard only users. So these can be happening because they do have a motor impairments and or they are older people who might have a limited fine motor control. The third user group are the ones who are sighted users and have a display screen available. They also interact with touchscreen devices such as smartphones and tablets. This group of users, they can double tap elements to activate them, swipe to scroll and navigate web pages, pinch to zoom in and out. The fourth user group are the ones who use voice control or speech recognition capabilities. They become enabled to control their computers and navigate web pages using spoken commands. This group of users can say commands like click link or scroll down to navigate web pages. They can also say input text via dictation instead of typing. From some of the common speech recognition tools, we can name Dragon Natural Speaking. This software allows users to control browsers and type using voice commands. In addition to Dragon, Google Assistant, Siri, and Alexa also do very similar. So they have voice assistants enabled on them that can help users to search the web and interact with web pages. The fifth user group are the ones who use smart speakers such as Amazon Echo and Google Home to browse the web content. This group of web users can ask for information and have the results read aloud to them. They can ask questions like, what is the weather today? Who was the singer for that song? They can ask and search for movie star. The sixth web user group are the ones who are visually impaired. They often rely on screen magnification capabilities and browsers features. They enlarge the web content and increase the contrast for better visibility. This group of web users can zoom in on web pages to increase text size. They also use magnifying glass tools to enlarge sections of a web page. Some of them use high contrast mode or color filter to improve readability of their content. From some of the common zoom and magnification tools, we can refer to the built-in browser zoom functionality as well as Windows magnifier and zoom text. The seventh web user group includes individuals who are visually impaired or blind. They use screen readers that announces the content such as headings, links, form fields, buttons, tables, and other information. So common screen readers. We are in the process of learning more about NVDA, so we're good with that. There are also JAWS, which stands for Job Access with Speech for Windows machine. There are VoiceOver for Mac OS and iOS devices, as well as TalkBack for Android devices. Some of the significant of using screen readers are using keyboard shortcut. So, for example, by pressing letter H, we are able to navigate through all the headings within our web pages. By pressing Tab, we will be moved into focusable elements such as links, buttons, form fields, as well as Control plus Home key press will always move the user to the top of the page. The eighth web user group includes individuals who are deaf-blind or visually impaired. They use refreshable Braille display to convert on-screen text into Braille characters, allowing users to perceive web content and interact back with them through touch. These devices typically connect to a computer, tablet, or smartphone via USB or Bluetooth and work along screen readers like NVDA, JAWS, TalkBack, as we talked. The tactile interaction via raised braille dots that represent on-screen text often gets refreshed as users move through the content. Before we proceed with reviewing the ninth web user group, let's take a few minutes to recognize how much mobile devices have revolutionized the way that all of us surf the web today. This is even more significant for users with disabilities because handheld devices has opened doors to a whole new spectrum of interactions. Mobile interfaces are often designed and developed with touch interactions in mind, but some users access handheld devices via a screen reader. If screen readers are not accounted and designed for, then the mobile websites and applications will not work the way that they're expected to work. It is also critical to remember that some of the users cannot operate complex gestures due to mobility challenges. The ninth group of web users utilize their devices' screen readers with touch gestures. These individuals are often blind who cannot use their display screens. Or it could be sighted people who decide for privacy reasons will turn off their screens using screen curtain feature. These individuals interact with their web pages using touch gestures and the screen readers only. The 10th and last web user group that we're exploring today are virtual reality and augmented reality users. They are interacting with the web content through immersive environments. And just for the people who might need a little bit more clarification on it, an immersive environment is a digital or simulated space that surrounds users and makes them feel fully engaged and involved in the environment. They often replace the real world with the fantasy scenarios. Immersive environments typically involve the users of technologies like virtual reality, augmented reality, or even a highly interactive 3D simulation to create a sense of presence, where users feel they are part of the environment and not just an observer. The key feature of virtual reality. Number one, head-mounted displays. Devices like HTC Vive and PlayStation VR are worn over the eyes and display a 3D environment. They're blocking out the real world and replacing it with the virtual space. Number two, motion tracking. VR headsets track the movement of the user's head and body, allowing them to look around and interact with the virtual environments as if they are physically presented in the environment. Number three, interactive controls. Users typically use handheld controllers to interact with the objects in their virtual environments. Some VR systems also track head movements or allow for full body interaction. Number four, 3D sound and haptic. In addition to visual immersion, VR systems often include special audio and haptic feedback vibrations to enhance the realism of the experience. Why are we going through this? Because the virtual reality and augmented reality and combination of both are being leveraged very so frequently these days. They're not only being used for gaming, but also they're being leveraged toward education, therapy, and rehabilitation. So what happened when it comes to people with the special needs and disabilities, VR and AR are becoming very, very useful nowadays. We just completed reviewing 10 most common methods and mechanisms that users access and work with the web content. In reality, though, there are so many ways and devices and technologies that people use. By keeping in mind all possible user groups and focusing on the inclusive design, we can strive to create and design applications and websites that are accessible by users regardless of their needs and disabilities. Thanks again for joining me today. I hope you gained some valuable insights that support you even more through your accessibility journey. Looking forward to seeing you in the next session. Until then, take care and goodbye.